We are here in the kitchen making Ratatouille. Isn't that an awesome name? I love Ratatouille. Often you might think about a movie that Disney did called Ratatouille. But here it's actually a dish that incorporates lots of yummy seasonal vegetables. And so basically it's roasting of vegetables. So let's get started. We have an onion here. So I'm gonna just cut that onion in half to create a flat surface. And then I'm gonna chop the onion. And I'm actually gonna make it pretty chunky. And the reason why is because a lot of the other vegetables we're gonna create chunky and keep them chunky. So we're gonna have a nice chunky ratatouille. Ratatouille really, as I said, is about roasting vegetables. And so how you can enjoy ratatouille is that you can enjoy it on top of some rice. And so I always whip up a batch of brown rice to put ratatouille on. So here we go. I'm chunking, because that's exactly what I'm doing with these onions. Chunking some onions. Here, look, you can see that I got nice big pieces of onion, and those are gonna go into our bowl. I'm gonna move just a few things around, not to keep, so you can see everything. Here, that's what we want, to make sure you can see everything. One onion is going into the bowl, and if you like more onion, by all means, you can add more onion. Now, we have some plum tomatoes, so those are often longer and leaner and not as juicy when it comes to a tomato. And so we're gonna cut up, and they're smaller. So again, what I love about ratatouille is it's, what do you have? So I actually just had 3 plum tomatoes. So I'm gonna use 3 plum tomatoes. Maybe the recipe called for 1, but it called for a big one. So I'm just going to cut these 3 smaller ones that I have that I think will equate to the 1. You might be wondering, what is this over here that I have? And this is actually an eggplant that we have removed the skin and that we have chopped. And so I'm not gonna show you that today because it's already done for us. So we're gonna add that to this bowl and get all of these really good vegetables in here. Next, this is a zucchini. The difference between a zucchini and a cucumber. Cucumber often has a bumpy skin. They look very similar. So cut off that end, put that aside. And all I'm gonna do is cut it into slices. Now, if I had a yellow squash, I could by all means chop that up in here. If I had a red onion, I could put that in here. But basically what you wanna do is think about the size of the vegetable and the softness of it. And I know that all of the vegetables in here cook quickly, and so I want to make sure that the cooking time is very similar for the vegetables that I'm selecting. And so we have squash, we have zucchini, again, you can use squash, eggplant, the onion, and the wonderful tomato. So we're just gonna slice this up, again, chunky. Ratatouille is generally chunky, so we're gonna make this as a chunky vegetable dish. By all means, if you are a meat family and you wanted to add some meat, you could cook it on the stovetop first before adding it to the vegetables to make sure that it's done before putting it with the vegetables. Sometimes people like maybe a lean sausage to go with it. Now, I'm using my favorite tools in the kitchen, yes. These are my hands. And so I'm just mixing this up, and what's great is you get that tomato incorporated in there. Next, we're gonna add more flavoring to this dish. We have 2 cloves of garlic that I have chopped. In it goes, 2 cloves of garlic, more flavor. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of a canola oil. You could also use olive oil as well, but olive oil tends to smoke at around 425 degrees, and that's what we're gonna be cooking this at. So you wanna be sure that your oven is preheated to 425. Next, we're going to add some basil and some oregano. So this really has hints of an Italian style dish with the oregano and the basil. Very simple. Very simple dish here. Bring this all in here. Next, we're gonna add some salt and pepper because it's always really important to add just a touch of salt or pepper to the dish to make sure that we're adding, again, layers of flavor. It's about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Whoop! A 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. There we go. Now what? We're gonna mix this all up. I'm just gonna use the measuring spoon that I have in my hands. Get this all mixed up. Should be really super yummy. We've already pre-sprayed our tray with a little bit of cooking spray to make sure that it's not gonna stick. Look how beautiful those colors are. I can tell you it smells heavenly in here with the oregano and the basil. So next, all we are going to do is put these vegetables in a single layer on our baking sheet. Now my baking sheet is huge, right? Yours is probably not that big, but mine is pretty big because I'm in a big kitchen. So I'm gonna put this on the tray. We're gonna pop it in the oven for 425. Here we are with our finished ratatouille. I just love saying that word if you cannot tell. So again, these are roasted vegetables seasoned nicely. So usually I might serve this over some brown rice, maybe some whole wheat pasta. Those are by all means great options, or maybe even quinoa if you have it. But today I'm just gonna put these wonderful roasted, toasted vegetables into a bowl. And one final topping that you can add to it that adds a lot of burst of flavor is just a few things of grated parm. So here we are, we have this beautiful vegetable, roasted vegetable dish. You can serve it as a side, or again, you can create this as a dish for dinner. Again, serve with some rice and maybe some lean meat sausage that you have cooked on the stovetop would be a really great meal. So enjoy.